Hey there guys, it's your good pal Wiggly, and welcome back to more Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations Blind. In the last episode, even more happened than the one before it. We found out that Iris's twin sister is Dahlia, and they are both members of the Fae clan because Morgan Fae is their mother, and this whole thing has been a usurping plot by Morgan Fae because Pearl was told to channel Dahlia, but she couldn't, and there's so much going on. And in this episode, we are going to be heading forward to what feels to me probably like the first part of the final trial of the trilogy. I would be amazed if they squeaked a third day out of this, but I'm ready. Here we go. February 10th, 9:39 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 1. The same lobby where the case that started this all happened. Good morning! Oh, are you by yourself? Good morning, Pearls. Mr. Nick, please tell me, what's going to happen to Mystic Maya? I'm sorry. We don't know yet. The investigation is still going on, so I wasn't allowed to the Inner Temple. Man. They're gonna keep that a secret? Like, if they got the locks off and if Maya's okay? Oh my god. Oh, I see. So, Sister Iris still trying to remove those trick locks in the training hall? No. She's the defendant in this case, so she can't be at the Inner Temple. She's required to be here in court. Then, how come she's not here in the defendant's lobby? I have to admit, it's kind of strange. If you're looking for Iris, she's in the prosecutor's lobby. Okay. Edgeworth. What's Iris doing over there? She's going over today's testimony with the prosecutor as we speak. Today's testimony? You heard me. Iris is going to be testifying as a witness for the prosecution. Witness of what? Wait, what? The prosecutor is squeezing her for a confession, or so I heard. Franziska von Karma, what are you up to? I know what you're thinking, but Franziska isn't going to be the prosecutor today. Of course not. Franziska's still back there trying to figure out the lock, right? What? Then who is? Who else would it be but Godot? Godot. Franziska is engaged in some important work at the Sacred Cavern. Yep. The Sacred Cavern? You don't mean that she's... Exactly. She has been out there all night trying to remove those trick locks. With the head nun's assistance, naturally. We estimate that the last of the locks should be taken care of in about 3 hours. I hope everything continues to go smoothly and we receive some good news soon. Yeah, thanks, Edgeworth. Prosecutor Godot intends to nail this case shut today. Be prepared to fight like there's no tomorrow. You don't have to tell me that. Touché. I can already see it in your eyes. You're not the same fever-ridden frantic maniac you were yesterday. It's strange. On the way here, I decided that today would be the end of all this. Almost immediately after I made that decision, I felt myself getting stronger. Interesting. Maybe you've passed your cold onto someone else. Literally. And with that, I leave the rest in your capable hands. Partner. Thanks. Oh my god. That's so sweet. I still don't have answers for most of the riddles plaguing this case. We're certainly better equipped than Edgeworth was for day 1. Say that. The circumstances around the murder of Miss Elise O'Neem. No, I mean Ms. Misty Faye. The impossible flight Larry claims to have seen. Yeah, what the fuck is up with that? And what that woman is really after. I will solve them all and bring this whole tragedy to an end. Oh man, here we go. February 10th, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court, courtroom number 7. Alright, Godot. Court is now in Hey, you're back! Where'd Canadian Judge go? What? Court is now in session for the trial of Iris of Hazakura Temple. Your Honor? What are you... Who? Me? Well, my little brother came to visit me in my chambers earlier this morning. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, he developed a scorching fever and fainted. Therefore, I'll be standing in for him. He's your brother? I see, Your Honor. So they're brothers. That explains a lot. That means he's also Canadian. Probably. My poor brother. He looked a bit pale, not to mention sad that he couldn't be here. I'm glad you're back. It is impossible to predict what the future has in store for any of us. This is precisely why people feel the need to judge the past. And we of the court have been charged with the solemn duty of passing such judgment. Well said, Mr. Godot. I understood exactly what you said, at least up until the end anyway. Now then, Mr. Godot, please proceed with your opening statement. I love that every single person in this courtroom wasn't present for the first part. Humans are fragile, fickle beings. Our hearts change with the shifting of the tides. There's only one thing that remains a constant in this crazy world. The bitter darkness that lies at the bottom of this mug. So then, you mean... forget it. What do you mean? During yesterday's trial, the accused refused to admit her role in the crime. But today, she has had a change of heart. Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple has a confession to make. Confession? The defendant. Iris. Why didn't she discuss this with me first? Very well. This court will now hear the defendant's confession. Okay. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask her for her name and profession. That's one of my rules.
My name is Iris. I am but a simple nun undergoing training at a Hazakura temple.
Witness, is there something that you want to confess to?
Yes, but first, I want to apologize to Mr. Wright. I can't continue lying to everyone anymore.
It's alright. What is it?
Mr. Wright, I have to admit that I did play a part in this terrible incident.
Oh, are you actually confessing? Are you saying that you were the one who murdered Miss Elise Donim?
No, I'm not, Your Honor. But I dealt with the cover-up after the murder took place.
Okay.
After her spirit left, I took the lifeless shell of Mystic Elise and carried it to the Hazakura Temple courtyard where I desecrated it.
What? Okay. Now that makes sense. Oh, order in the court! Order!
Okay, but the only thing that doesn't make sense is why the fuck?
Witness, are you saying you were an accomplice to the murder?
Yes, that's correct.
What?
3 minutes in court and I'm already covered in a cold sweat.
Huh. Everyone on the planet is an accomplice to something. It just happens to be that in this case, it is to murder. Alright, kiddo. Isn't that right, Mr. Trite?
That Godot. So this is the confession they were conferring about. It pains me to say this, but it looks like Iris's testimony was all a lie.
Okay. Now then, little lady, if you don't mind, I've got a question for you. Whose crime were you trying to cover up by your actions?
Don't say it.
Oh, Iris was covering for someone?
Ugh. Now I'm definitely up the creek without a paddle, or a life jacket. I've been at Hazakura Temple ever since I was a little girl. Hazakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of the Crane tradition. One of our missions is to protect the main family.
Fuck off. I'm sorry, but main family?
Yes, and that's why I would dirty myself if need be to protect her. The daughter of the master of the Karain channeling technique, Mystic Maya Fey.
Huh? Wake up and smell the coffee, Trite.
She's naming...
Maya?! Order! Order in the court! So not only did you witness the murder, you know the name of the murderer!
I'm terribly sorry, but it's true. I saw her commit the crime with my very own eyes. And then I cleaned up the area to try to protect her.
That's ridiculous! Maya could never do such a... Unless she channeled Dahlia. The defense will refrain from commenting until the appropriate time. Now, witness, let's hear your testimony. What exactly happened on the night of the crime?
Yes, Your Honor.
I thought I was prepared for the unexpected, but I never imagined the case would wind up going in this direction. What the fuck do you mean you saw her, though?
How can that be? You didn't have psych locks either, when you told us earlier. I went to the inner temple that night and I saw it all happen in the garden. I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff. While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Mystic Maya tried desperately to defend herself and stole the weapon. It was only in self-defense. You can't blame her for it.
So it was in self-defense?
Yes, Mystic Elise was the one who attacked first. That's why I tried my best to protect Mystic Maya.
You moved the victim's body to the temple so that Maya wouldn't be suspected. Isn't that right? Not bad. You've got the instincts of a true criminal. Something's not quite right. I'm sure it was established yesterday that Iris never went to the inner temple that night. Yeah. And that the person who did go was that woman. Iris even admitted it. Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination.
Why are you trying to take the fall for this?
I went to the inner temple that night and I saw it all happen in the garden. Sister Iris, your testimony has changed quite a bit since yesterday. You stated yesterday that on the night of the murder, you didn't go into the inner temple. Objection! Did she now? Too bad for you. What she said yesterday doesn't mean much today. By the way, where were you when she claimed that she didn't go? I was in the inner temple's training hall. A private conversation between the two of you does not constitute testimony. That would be properly described as hearsay. What do you have to say, witness?
I just couldn't tell him the truth at that time. Man, Mystic Maya, she's your girlfriend, isn't she? I didn't want to be the one to break it to you that I saw her commit murder.
There. We all understand how difficult this is for you. Now then, let's continue with the testimony. What did you witness in the temple garden?
Well, Your Honor, I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff.
Okay.
You're saying that the victim attacked Maya, I mean, Miss Faye. Yes, it was a truly frightening scene. Mystic Maya was struck hard on the head and looked like she was going to collapse.
What were you doing at the time?
Why didn't you stop them from fighting? I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I was frightened. I couldn't move. I couldn't even speak. I was in such shock.
That's perfectly understandable, my dear. This doesn't sound right. I don't believe this testimony for a minute. I don't either. What happened after that?
While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. She moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Yes, I'm sure of it. Also, why on earth would Misty attack Maya? That's ridiculous. She threw down her staff and reached into her robe for a weapon. Wait a minute. What was this weapon? It was some kind of dagger. Well, we gotcha. A dagger, huh? And Elise O'Neem tried to stab her with this weapon? To kill Miss Faye? Yes, exactly.
Huh. You look like I did after I mistakenly took a swig of Worcestershire sauce. Do you have a problem with the testimony we're hearing from your client, lawyer boy? Lawyer boy. Do I have a problem with Iris's testimony? Yeah.
Your Honor, I have a small problem with the witness's testimony.
You do? But this witness is your own client.
Yes, well, nevertheless.
That's fine. Witness, let's add your last statement to the testimony. You're gonna regret that.
Yes, sir.
Hey, just a moment. It's my job to say that. Listen, Gramps, I won't say it again. Final judgment will be rendered by me. Okay, now, let's continue.
She threw her staff away and pulled her dagger from inside her robe.
Nope. Doesn't check out.
This was the murder weapon. Sorry, Gumshoe. Sister Iris, there's something strange about your version of events. Huh? Miss O'Neem throwing her staff away makes no sense at all to me. But all you can do with a staff is hit someone. Naturally, you wouldn't know this, Sister Iris, but the victim's staff had a special feature about it. As you can see, it's a sword. If Elise O'Neem really had wanted to kill Maya Fey, she wouldn't have needed to use a separate dagger. Not when she already had a beautiful blade in her hands already. Well, Sister Iris, what do you have to say?
That was an impressive bit of investigating, Trite. I never would have thought there was a sword hidden in that staff. But even so, how should I put this? A long sword is unwieldy, and thus quite ineffective in close quarters combat. Maybe that's why she chose a dagger over her blade.
Well...
Anyway, the type of weapon she chose to use isn't what's important. The important thing is that she tried to kill Maya Fey. As long as there's nothing strange about that, there's no problem with her testimony.
But there is something strange about this whole testimony.
Well, Mr. Wright, the prosecution has a point.
Very well, Your Honor. The defense will now present evidence to back its argument. Mr. Wright, I have here another piece of evidence that shows that this testimony can't be trusted. Because Miss Elise O'Neem would never attempt to take the life of Maya Fey. Because... Real name, Misty Fey. Yeah, here we go. It's her mother. Elise O'Neem would never have attacked Maya Fey. How can you be so sure? Because the victim's real name was not Elise O'Neem. Her real name was Misty Fey.
Fey?
No. Not Mystic Misty Fey.
Who is this Misty Fey? Is she related to...
Misty Fey is the master of the Korean channeling technique. She is also the mother of Maya Fey.
Are you serious?
Is it really true? Mr. Wright, was Elise O'Neem actually the great Mystic Misty? There's no doubt about it. I'm not surprised you didn't know either. It looks like Iris had no idea. I can hardly believe it. The idea that she would try to kill her only daughter, one she hadn't seen in 17 years. Perhaps the prosecution can offer some explanation for why she would do such a thing.
Order in the court. Upon first hearing the witness's testimony, it seemed natural enough. However, in light of some facts that have just been presented, 1, that the victim supposedly threw away a sword during a fight, and 2, that the two people battling to the death were mother and daughter, despite the facts being believable when taken on their own. When taken together, the entire story seems difficult to believe. Listen, there's nothing in this world that's impossible, except for one little thing. Yes, what is this one little impossible thing? Huh, you still don't get it. You think maybe my beans are under-roasted, but you have no idea, Gramps. Could you get to your point? I heard this witness's confession this morning, just as I had taken the first sip of my 8th cup of morning coffee. You're going to ruin your health, my friend. Anyway, after hearing this woman's confession, I had a detective who loves to investigate sent to the scene of the crime. And he discovered this little beauty. Is that the dagger the witness testified to seeing? What? Obviously, Your Honor. But do you notice something else? Now that you mention it, if you look closely, there appears to be blood on it. What? Where did you find that? I didn't see that when I investigated the crime scene. Did you investigate the pine tree at the crime scene? Huh? The pine tree? This dagger was stuck in the backside of the pine tree when the last blow was struck, ending the violent battle between the two women. This little baby was thrown in the direction of the back of the pine tree. Which means the blood on this dagger belongs to the victim, correct? Were you even listening, old man? You came prepared. I first heard this confession this morning, just as I had taken the first sip of my 13th cup of morning coffee. Didn't you say it was your 8th just a few minutes ago? I didn't have enough time to get the blood analyzed on such short notice. In any case, the court will accept this dagger into evidence. Furthermore, I order that a blood test be performed on it immediately. This is my sweetheart. Make sure you treat her right. What? Bailiff, get this piece of evidence to the crime lab for testing immediately.
That's weird.
Now then, the testimony we've just heard had numerous unbelievable aspects to it. However, after having found the very dagger the witness spoke of, I believe we can consider her testimony to be credible. Cute girls never lie. Ever. What about Dahlia? In any case, witness, if you could please testify again to this court.
About what, Your Honor?
About the incident you saw, the battle between the two women.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff, but then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed.
That was a very heartbreaking story.
I don't know if there were any bad feelings between them, but it had been 17 years since Mystic Misty's disappearance. Perhaps they simply didn't recognize each other anymore.
That seems reasonable. Now then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. Okay. I didn't see anything weird there upon first glance. Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff. But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Okay. Do we have fingerprints on this? We know that Maya never touched the staff because previously it was noted that it had only Elisa's fingerprints on it. Why would there be blood on the crystal sphere if it was from the staff, though? Yeah, no. No. Behind a tree. How the hell did it get stuck in the backside of a tree? If she just flung it away after being stabbed? No. Yeah, this is shaky as hell. Okay. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Okay. Well, that would explain the writing upside down, like I had mentioned before. We don't have anything related to the ladder either. And wait a minute, doesn't this all... it says time 10 to 11, but... Okay, I mean, I guess that still checks out. The victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints. Yeah, okay, so yeah, you stabbed her and removed it. That checks out. Protects from evil spirits. Taken by her only pupil, Arista Meme. Yeah. Why do we have this? I don't think we've ever once had to use this for anything. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to press on things here. Yeah. I feel like we don't have a lot of stuff relating to the... Oh yeah, there's the talisman. How did that get ripped off and thrown away? Okay. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed. Okay. Well, she had enough time to write the name, I guess. Iris, where were you standing when you witnessed all this? What do you mean? Well, if either of them had noticed you, they might not have continued their battle. I wonder if that's true. The two of them, they were standing near the garden's stone lantern. I was watching the whole thing from behind. It was dark where the two of them were, so... I think that's why they didn't see me. So it was dark in the garden where the murder took place. Tell me, what did Miss Maya Fey do after she was struck? Okay. She dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. What happened to the victim's staff then?
I'm not sure. The area was very dark, so I really couldn't see. I think it got knocked away somewhere as the fight escalated.
That makes sense. That would explain the need for the dagger.
Mystic Elise raised the dagger to strike, but Mystic Maya dodged it at the last second. The dagger struck the lantern and fell to the ground. And then at some point, Mystic Maya picked it up.
Nothing sounds especially strange yet. What did the victim do when the weapon was stolen from her? Okay.
Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern.
You're saying that Maya Fey turned the tables on the victim?
Yes. Mystic Maya wasn't herself at the time. After all, her life was in danger.
I still can't believe it. The idea of Maya cornering someone at knife point is just silly. As they say, a cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal.
I believe the correct description of a cornered fox is scared and petrified.
Your animal analogies have grown tiresome. You were the one who started it. Anyway, so after Maya Fey backed the victim to the stone lantern, what happened next?
That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Wait a minute, hold on.
No, there it is. Yeah, haha. Okay. Nope, that doesn't check out. Are you absolutely certain that's what you saw?
Yes, I am almost certain.
Almost.
The garden was dark. I couldn't really tell who was who.
What did she just say? So in other words, it could have been someone else entirely. Objection. We know that Maya Fey was at the Inner Temple that night, and that the woman that was killed was Elise Donim. Isn't it fairly obvious who attacked who?
Ugh. I don't have anything to counter that yet.
Well then, witness, please continue with your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor. The two of them face each other for a moment, and Mystic Maya rushed straight into Mystic Elise. Nope. And Mystic Elise doubled over and fell to the ground.
So she was stabbed in the stomach, huh?
Yes.
Alright. Wrong. She was stabbed in the back. Something about you just isn't right today, Iris.
Huh?
Until now, I didn't think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. However, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions.
What do you mean? What's so wrong about my testimony?
According to you,
Maya Fey stabbed the victim while she had her back to the stone lantern, correct? Yes, that's right. But in that case, the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach, right?
Yes, I think so.
But, according to the autopsy report, the cause of death was due to blood loss from a stab wound in her back. Oh! This proves that the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris, it appears that another seed of doubt has sprouted from your testimony.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? Huh, it's simple. People are like books. We've all got a front and a back. You get my drift? Is that all you have to say? I can also say that darkness loves to play with the human mind.
Could you please knock it off with the cheesy proverbs and illogical metaphors already? The point is, too much of a testimony just doesn't make sense. Throwing away a useful staff, the people fighting being mother and daughter, and now she falsely claims the victim was stabbed in the stomach.
There certainly are some inconsistencies.
Well, Iris, how about it? Well, it's just...
If you ask me, you're just being too naive about the whole thing.
What do you mean?
There are 253 distinct types of bitterness in coffee, my man. But to pick out each one requires total concentration and the use of all the senses. Were you really concentrating on what this witness actually said? Prosecutor Godot, explain yourself! The witness was quite unambiguous about her own ambiguities when she said that the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly.
That makes her an unreliable witness, though.
A human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light. Light. By the way, did you know Hazakura has a rule that on nights when the acolyte is at the inner temple training, the stone lantern in the garden must be kept lit.
I did wonder what the stone lantern was there for.
Well, if that's true, shouldn't the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly? Normally, yes, Your Honor. But according to the head nun, Sister Bikini, on the night of the crime, it was impossible to light that stone lantern.
Impossible?
It hadn't been used in a long time, and the wick was no good. In other words, it had to have been nearly pitch black in the garden that night. There could have been a faint light coming from the training hall, but that's it. Most enlightening.
Shitty pun, but also, now it's just like, okay, Iris has no fucking idea what she saw.
Yes, that illuminating fact has changed all the contradictions away.
Chase all the contradictions.
If the staff was dropped, it would be difficult to see. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. We can't see the demons that lurk in the night. That's why humans are weak. Isn't that right, Trite?
You have no evidence that it was Maya. That's bullshit.
Order, order, order! Here, Your Honor. Let me present the stone lantern into evidence.
Okay.
Maybe it will rekindle the flame of truth in your mind.
All these fucking light puns. A lantern from the inner temple garden was not lit the night of the crime. Okay. Why is the judge just sitting there with that look on his face?
What's wrong, Your Honor? Was that flame too hot? This lantern. There's something written on it. Why, it's written in blood!
Oh boy. So the judge didn't know about that yet.
Written in blood?
Do you not know, Godot?
It says Maya upside down. What the?
Oh yes, that's right. After being cornered and then stabbed by Mystic Maya, Mystic Elise didn't fall down right away. She must have been writing that on the stone lantern behind her, with the blood that was draining out of her body. Well, now you have another contradiction.
It certainly looks that way. Objection! Hang on just a minute. What are you all talking about? What do you mean, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the message written in blood.
Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle.
Are you not able to see the color red? Oh my god. Could it be? He can't see the bloody writing at all? Now that I think of it, he did say something to me yesterday. What does he see and just like... Is his vision like the Virtual Boy? Red and black?
My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything.
So that's what he meant by that.
In any case, this obviously is an important clue. We now know that the crime scene was dark, and that the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godot, anything further? Mr. Godot? Okay then, let's move on.
Godot is literally shaking, and somehow I don't think it's from caffeine overdose.
I believe it's now been established that Miss O'Neem was killed by Maya Fey.
That's just wrong.
Now it's time to turn our attention to you.
Yes, sir.
After the victim died, you did something, didn't you? Let's hear it. We're all ears.
That's interesting. Okay. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Kurain tradition. So I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. Then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple and... I used the Shichishido to alter the way the wound looked.
So you moved the body?
Yes. I was raised at Hazakura Temple. I owe a great deal of thanks to the Fey clan. But even so, I never imagined that Elise O'Neem was actually Misty Fey. I've committed a terrible sin.
A terrible trick of fate.
I believe you're looking for Twist of Fate, Your Honor. I intended to return to the inner temple after taking care of the body. But...
You were spotted by the head nun, correct?
Yes, and that's why I couldn't go back.
Your story makes sense, I suppose. Mr. Wright, go ahead with your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay. I don't know what's fishy about this yet. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. So you waited until everything was over before making a move? No, it's not like that.
She saw someone murdered right in front of her eyes. It's not surprising that she was a little timid. Yes, I suppose that's true. Sometimes when I'm watching lawyers argue back and forth with each other, I feel so helpless that I just sit quietly and wait for them to reach a conclusion.
Isn't it your job as the judge to mediate the argument? He can't do that. It wasn't until Mystic Maya saw me that it finally dawned on her what she had done. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Kurain tradition. So then, you knew. You knew the significance of the name Maya Fey. Yes, of course I did. That's odd. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, Sister Bikini didn't recognize Maya's name, let alone her position. Anyway, she was a very special person indeed. Okay. Right, the future master of the Kurain... Yeah. How would you have known her? That's super weird. Okay. So I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. Why did you do that? Because I didn't want Mystic Maya to be suspected in any way. I thought the best thing would be to remove the body from the crime scene.
You moved her body all by yourself.
Also, I just realized that if this happened... Yeah, if this happened, then Pearl would have saw it. Because she was over there, right? I mean, I guess she was in, like, the guest area. Is that the garden?
I don't know what the guest area is. Is it that room outside the cavern? Or is it just like the little area with the pond? I don't know what that is. But Pearl would have heard something. Yes, I did. It would have been impossible if it wasn't for the snow. The snow, huh? I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. Okay. It's pretty amazing you could make it all the way across. That's a rickety old bridge. It looks worse than it is. It's surprisingly sturdy despite its age. It's like they say, idiots are too stupid to catch even a simple cold. But there's one other thing that bothers me. Why not just throw the body into the Eagle River? It would have been much easier than dragging it all the way to Hazakura Temple. I thought that it would still cast too much suspicion on Mystic Maya. That's why I tried to take the body as far away as possible. Huh. Makes perfect sense to me. For the time being. Anyway, what did you do after you crossed the bridge?
Then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple and...
The snowmobile? I knew that would show up sooner or later.
Yes, I had the key. I used the snowmobile to travel from Hazakura Temple to Dusky Bridge.
This is the part that it was in question the other day. Should I ask for more details? Yeah. Okay, so... If you drove the snowmobile there... I'm not sure... You would have had to have been there a while ago. I'm kind of shaky on this, but wouldn't you have had to have been there way before you rang the bell? Because, like, it was still snowing. I mean, never mind. That's wrong. This time thing is fucking me up. Like, when snow stopped and started. Snow from 7 to 10:50. Yeah, so... It would have still been snowing, I guess. Yeah. And then she drove it back, she's saying... Okay. I don't know. Ask about the snowmobile, I guess? Let me hear more about this snowmobile ride.
Well, it was very cold that night, so I rode it all the way to the foot of the bridge.
I'm sorry, witness, but now I've got a problem with your testimony.
Excuse me?
Godot,
What are you up to now?
that night, after the head nun left the remainder of the training to you, she said she walked from the inner temple back to Hazakura Temple. Yes, I'm fairly certain that's what the record indicates. Let's recall her comments on the subject.
Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple... It was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean.
The snowmobile was in front of the main gate. This is one of those contradictions, wouldn't you say?
Okay.
Oh, order! Mr. Godot! Why are you pointing out contradictions in the witness's testimony? Let's just say I like things to be neat and tidy, okay?
Well, maybe... Sister Bikini missed it? Yes, maybe she didn't see it.
You think she missed it? That doesn't sound right. Huh. Whatever. Even I don't think this is decisive enough to warrant any more time or effort. It's just, you better be careful in your testimony. That's all I wanted to say. A smart little cookie like you shouldn't have any trouble understanding that.
Yes, sir.
What was that all about? Why would Godot want to give me a hint? Very well then, let's continue with the testimony. So you transported the body by snowmobile, all the way to Hazakura Temple Courtyard.
Yes, I thought that way Mystic Maya would never be suspected. That's what I thought anyway, and then I...
Yeah, that's super weird. There's nothing wrong with this last statement. Let's try pressing back on the other statement. About the tracks, maybe? If you really did move her body by snowmobile, then there should be tracks left in the snow, right? Well, yes, naturally you would expect tracks. This picture was presented at yesterday's trial. Are these the tracks from that ride?
Yes, I think they are.
But I can only see one set of tracks here.
I don't see what's so strange about that. Snow was still falling when I left Hazakura Temple.
I see. Snow was still falling, huh?
And then when the murder took place, it had already stopped. That's why there are such fresh-looking tracks.
How about it, Mr. Wright? What do you think about this testimony?
This is where I'm super shaky. Okay, so... She walked back from the temple and saw the snowmobile, still there, covered in snow. Oh my god, I can't parse this. It's so much shit. It's so much time and weather stopping and starting and... Oh, fuck. Okay. I mean, it's important, sure. When the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. Doesn't make any sense if you stack it up against the other evidence. Your Honor, I'd like the statement Iris just made added to the testimony. Oh, okay, I think I get it.
But does it have something to do with this case?
All will be made clear if you allow her statement to be added to the record.
Huh. This should be fun. Let's get this snow business cleared up, shall we?
Yes, sir. Okay, so the Godot point out hint thing is... By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. So that wasn't the real path forward. 7 to approximately 10:50. So you... Okay, wait a minute, yeah. So you're saying that, like, in that amount of time, from the time that snow stopped, from all the way from, like, the murder happening to you moving the body and yelling out at Maya and driving all the way back and doing all of this, you did that all in 10 minutes? No. Your Honor, that statement has contradicts this evidence.
It does? I don't see anything contradictory.
Huh? Really? Okay.
Objection denied. Try to think before you make accusations, Mr. Wright.
Okay. Okay. That I really thought I was onto something there. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Korean tradition, so I removed her body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way to Dusky Bridge. When I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple, and I used the Shichishido to alter the way the wound looked. By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. Okay. Yeah, I don't... Did I present the right thing? Okay. So, let me get this straight here. Okay. So, Elise's autopsy report. She died from 10 to 11 p.m., somewhere in there. We haven't even retouched the stab in the back thing. Okay, so from 10 to 11, 10:50 would work along with that. And then... Snow, 7 to approximately 10:50 p.m. Lightning struck... Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Lightning struck the bridge 5 minutes before the snow stopped. So if you went across the bridge Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. No. No. No, the bridge would have been on fire. I don't want to believe it, but I don't think my logic is failing me. Iris is trying to pin the murder on Maya. But why would she want to do that? There's only one reason I can think of. Alright. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Korean tradition, so I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. Is it this? Because the bridge was on fire? Ah, okay. That's difficult, actually. Wow, okay. So, to get the information to figure that out, to look into that, you have to press a completely unrelated statement. And then with that information, you go back to a statement that was already stated, and now that statement doesn't make any sense. That's really smart. Wow. Damn. What a thinker. You claim that the snow had already stopped when the murder occurred. But I'm sorry, Iris. That just isn't possible. What? This is the weather data from the night of the murder. According to this, the snow didn't stop until 10:50 p.m. And also, please don't make me reference this weather sheet again. It's so complicated to me. But you couldn't have crossed Dusky Bridge at that time. Well, why do you say that? Because 5 minutes before the snow stopped, Dusky Bridge was struck by lightning and had caught on fire. What did you say? The bridge, it was on fire? You don't mean to say you didn't know about it? It was because of that lightning strike that the bridge burned down. What? But it can't be. It looks like you still haven't figured it out. No matter how hard you try to deceive or conceal the truth, you can't pull the wool over the eyes of a real defense attorney. No! Order, order, order! The bridge was already on fire when the incident took place. That's right, the inner temple was already totally cut off from the outside world. There's no way you could have crossed the bridge, body or no body. Witness, even my patience has its limits. Any further lying and I'll find you in contempt of court. Do you have anything to say for yourself? The only person here that is truly contemptible is you. Old man. Me? How dare you? Whether this witness lied or not doesn't mean squat right now. Squat? The important thing now is to find out the truth. Isn't that right? Yes, of course, but whether it was snowing or not snowing, or whether the bridge was burning or not, there are two facts that can't be disputed. First, the body of Elise Onim was discovered in the Hazakura Temple courtyard, and second, the head nun, Sister Bikini, witnessed Iris desecrating Elise Onim's body. He makes a good point on both accounts, but we can't just... This sucks. You can't just keep, like, sweeping every single lie under the rug like this. This is bullshit. That's right. I'm not lying. What are you claiming this time? I wasn't myself at all that night, so my memory is still somewhat hazy. What do you mean? You have stood at that witness stand and testified this entire time. Are you telling us now that your memory of that night is hazy? It is only human to err. If you're so perfect, Wright, maybe you can explain this for the court. What is it? When the murder happened, the bridge had already burnt down. But somehow the body traveled across the bridge and was found in the temple courtyard. Perhaps you have some kind of perfect explanation for this little magic trick. Well, not exactly, no. I know there must be some other way she got across that burnt-out bridge. Huh? But how? There's no fucking shot. How? Literally how? No. But unless I can somehow demonstrate it, we'll never know the truth. It looks like the defense is not prepared to offer a suitable explanation. You see what I mean? In other words,
You're in no position to suggest that this lady's testimony isn't the truth. All right, then. Witness, let's hear your testimony once more.
About what, Your Honor?
You've admitted that you moved the victim's body. Nevertheless, your prior testimony contained a rather large inconsistency. Please add an explanation for that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor. Will this be her final testimony? Jesus, man. Okay. Other than walking over the bridge, there's no way to move the body. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. Was the snow still falling or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much? Or are you saying that there is a way to cross a burning bridge?
No, man. So it was just a misunderstanding, I see. This is a photo of Dusky Bridge after it burned down from the lightning blast. It was taken on the morning after the incident. It certainly was burned to a crisp, and... Okay. One of the suspension wires even snapped. It's amazing the whole bridge didn't fall. Clearly, it would be impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition.
Okay. Unless I do something to discredit this testimony, it's going to be deemed as the truth. And Maya will be accused of murder.
Wright, I'm only going to say it one more time. It is only human to err. And only humans can spot the errors of our ways.
The more sense he makes, the less sense he makes.
All right, Mr. Wright, please begin your final cross-examination.
It's only human to err unless you are close to somebody that gets murdered, I guess, huh, Godot? And are oblivious. Oops. That's not human. That's actually horrible. That's flawed as fuck. Okay. There's no way to move the body, so I must have just gotten confused, I guess. Was the snow still falling or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much? Or are you saying that there's a way to cross a burning bridge? Alright, so it feels like we're finally getting to this point. And I think I understand what they're trying to get at with it. I'm gonna look so fucking stupid if I'm wrong. But I don't know how it would work, but the fact that they just presented the suspension wire thing. How the hell would she be, like, it was like, what, like 30 feet above the bridge? How? That doesn't make any sense with the suspension wires being, like, below the bridge. I'm so confused, but it's the only lead I feel like I have right now, so I guess Alright, time to throw out a Hail Mary, man. Let's just... Wow! What? I thought for sure I was getting penalized. A dead body flying over a burning bridge. I wouldn't exactly rule out that possibility. I'm along for the ride with the rest of the damn court with this one. I don't have a fucking clue how this happened. What? You're saying it's possible. Don't make me laugh. The only thing that's possible about your claim is that it's been pulled out of thin air. I don't know about that. In any case, we have a witness who did see it happen. Preposterous! Who is it? Who is this witness? I can't chicken out here. I've got to keep on the attack and go, go, go. This is ridiculous. Miss Elise O'Neem's brilliant and highly gifted apprentice, Larice O'Neem. Brilliant, highly gifted. Apprentice? Remember what he said in his testimony. That night, he was at the Mountain Shack, Heavenly Hall. And that's when he witnessed the event. Oh my god! Oh my fucking god! Oh my god, my face hurts. Ow. Oh. Brother. Larry. I can't believe this. I know what happened. He was upside down looking at it. Oh my god. Fuck off. I think you've all seen this sketch before. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night. Yeah, and the suspension wires are on top. It's upside down. Oh my god.
Are you serious? Today's not April Fool's Day, is it? Mr. Wright, are you seriously claiming that the victim flew through the air? And you're using this pathetic scribble to support your argument?
Holy shit. Uh-oh, the judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket. I can't believe I figured that out last second. I took a breath in instead of saying ha out loud. That is how fucking taken aback I am by that.
Huh. Well, Trite, there's nowhere for you to hide now. Other than looking like it was drawn by a 6-year-old, does this sketch prove anything?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm going to prove it.
Listen, I know your tricks. You're trying to turn this whole thing upside down. If you're so eager to turn this case upside down, wink wink, why not start with this sketch? Turn it upside down, wink wink.
Upside down? Why did Godot say that? Why did Godot say that?
Alright then, let's hear the defense's theory.
Why is he giving so many hints right now?
What exactly is this sketch trying to show?
I don't think old Whiskerface is going to forgive any more mistakes. Alright, Phoenix, look carefully and think it over. This sketch drawn by Laristo Neem is a complete contradiction. Exactly. Okay, it's not exactly what happened. It's not evidence of nothing. Yeah. Something is obviously funny about this sketch.
I'm no art critic, but even I can see that.
No, that's not what I mean, Your Honor. Laristo Neem stated it over and over. That this sketch was exactly as he saw it. Oh my fucking god. However, if we're to believe his testimony, then the sketch contradicts reality as we know it. It contradicts reality?
This is getting interesting. Looks like you're back to that finger-pointing thing again. Okay, Trite. So what exactly contradicts reality as we know it?
Okay, it's the... I don't know where to click. It's the suspension wire. It's this wire connected to the bridge, thank God.
The wire? Huh. Is that the thing that contradicts reality?
It is indeed.
Then show us the reality it supposedly conflicts with. Show us something that will point out how the sketch contradicts reality.
It's the bridge photo you just showed me.
That's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct?
Yes, now compare the sketch and the photo for a minute. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. But on the actual Dusky Bridge...
Jumping Jehoshaphat!
The wires are below the guard wires. I can't believe I didn't figure that out sooner. God damn it.
Order, order, order! This sketch is somewhat different than what's depicted in the photo. However, isn't it likely that the artist just saw it wrong?
Or perhaps he just drew it wrong.
Either way, it sounds like you're just wrong.
With someone like Larice, I admit a mistake is a definite possibility. But then that begs the question. Why did he make a mistake? What was the reason?
Are you saying you know the answer to that?
Listen, think back, alright? Remember what Larice was doing when he witnessed this event? He was at Heavenly Hall waiting for a lover that was never going to come. He waited and waited, and finally he laid down. But then, lightning shoots from the sky and sets the bridge aflame. Now ponder what sort of position Larice must have been in at the time. He was lying on his back, which is why he remembered the scene the way he did.
He was lying on his back. I can't see how it relates.
But it does, Your Honor. That is the reason why the wires in the sketch go up instead of down.
Ugh! No way.
Larice Donim witnessed the event while he was lying on his back, face up. In other words, the scene that he saw was actually upside down.
That's so ridiculous, dude. So then, this sketch should actually...
I think you finally get it, Your Honor. The correct way to view Larice Donim's sketch is like this. This is how it should actually look. The victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge. It was actually swinging below. That's right, just like a pendulum.
Ridiculous! Order, order, order! Of all the things to say, a pendulum.
The bridge was burning to a crisp. There was no way to get across it. But if the body had been found at the inner temple, it would have caused problems. This is where the criminal decided to take a gamble. They used the burning bridge to get the body across to the other side. And a pendulum was the only way to get it done.
Let's think about this for a minute, shall we? Dusky Bridge is about 20 yards long, which means it's about that far from the inner temple to the opposite cliff.
Yes, that sounds right.
In order to cover that distance with a pendulum, you need a rope at least 10 yards long. To get a rope that long, you'd have to plan ahead.
Nope. The lightning strike that night could only have been an accident. So it doesn't make sense that the culprit would have prepared the rope beforehand. So then, they didn't have to get the rope already. The rope was already right in front of them.
What?
I'm saying that it was just a matter of using what was already there.
In that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation to support your theory. What makes you think the criminal had the rope on hand to create a pendulum?
Okay, that's easy. We know that one of the wires is missing. It makes perfect sense, actually. Let's check the... Yeah, it's that wire right there.
And the meaning of this is...
If you want to know where the rope came from, it's hanging right there in front of your glorious beard.
Ah! This is one of the wires from the bridge!
When the lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire, one of the suspension wires came loose from its anchor. The criminal didn't have any time to waste, so they tied the wire around Elise Donim's body. Wow. And that's when the orb got knocked off, too. That's nuts, bro. Because there was simply no other way to move the body. You alright there, buddy?
Mr. Godot? It seems that Mr. Godot is more focused on his coffee than answering my question. It seems that the odds of a rope being readily available were very high, so I suppose that it's not an impossibility after all. Possible or impossible? That's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did that really happen? Wright, I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence that the body was swung over like a pendulum?
I mean, yeah, okay. That's where the orb was. Right, literally right there. Exactly. So do I present the orb? Or do I present the map? Let's try the orb. Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it's the one that was in front of the inner temple.
So then, what was the spot? That was the spot where the criminal...
Yes, precisely. Now let us consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. If the body was pushed from this point here... It would drop on the opposite bank at approximately this point.
Did you say drop?
Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank. What? What makes you think something like that happened? Because I have evidence that suggests her body dropped some distance. Ah! What kind of evidence? Take a look at this autopsy report. It says that her body fell about 10 feet after death. This case is insane.
10 feet, huh?
That's most likely the height difference between the two sides. The body overswung due to the forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And then, as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose. Yes, this blood-stained amethyst crystal is the one that came off of Miss Elise Donim's staff. And even more important is the place where this crystal sphere was found.
Indeed. I believe it's already marked on this overhead map.
Nice.
The crystal was found...
Precisely, Your Honor. In this very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed.
Insane. This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You have provided us with the way the body could have been moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive.
But Mr. Wright! I heard that sound, but I didn't know what it was.
I thought this cold coffee might help cool you down. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot? That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Trite. But you forgot about one thing. Oh, and what would that be? The aroma. Huh? A coffee's most reliable accomplice is its deep and profound aroma.
The rest of the court doesn't speak coffee-nese. Can you elaborate a bit more?
If the criminal had sent the body to the other side like you say, then naturally there must have been an accomplice lying in wait to catch it. An accomplice? The criminal wasn't able to cross Dusky Bridge. So, who collected the body? What do you have to say about that, Trite? Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do.
Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to Hazakura Temple without an accomplice.
Very well then, if you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person that received the body on Hazakura Temple's side?
That's pretty obvious. It was Iris. Because then she took it back on the snowmobile, and she stabbed it with the sword. It can only be you, Sister Iris. Huh? But I don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. With her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. You're the only one that could have managed it.
Trite, were you even listening to the witness's testimony? On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty in the Inner Temple Garden after the mother-daughter bloodbath.
I haven't forgotten, but have you, Mr. Godot? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of the victim.
Strange indeed. It's almost as if, on that night, the defendant was in two different places at the same time.
Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony? Mention what? The pendulum, of course. Using this sketch drawn by an eyewitness, I have established how the body was moved using the burnt-out bridge, which means it's now a fact that this occurred. Something you should have already known. No, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum. But the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, it'd be impossible for you to be so clueless about this whole thing. Unless you're not really Iris to begin with. What? How can you say that, Mr. Wright?
What kind of nonsense is this? You're saying this witness isn't Iris of Hazakura Temple? Objection! Oh, are you serious, Trite? You mean... this woman is... You've got to be fucking kidding me.
There's no one besides Iris that could have received the corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this whole trial. Fucking hell. Why her whole demeanor changed so suddenly from yesterday, and why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. That woman that's standing there at the witness stand. Her real name is... Are you goddamn kidding me? So she does have powers. Either that... No. Okay. So there's two possibilities here. Either Iris was actually executed in place of Dahlia, or, more likely, because of the memory thing here, she's channeling her, and she has powers all along. I never thought I'd have to utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. Hawthorne? Sister Iris had a twin sister, and you're looking at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. That name rings some bells. Distant bells, but bells nonetheless. Huh. It's just your imagination, Gramps. This file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh yes, I remember now. That case, 5 years ago. My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor is all mine.
No, the honor is all mine. But according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead.
Okay, yeah. It says her execution was carried out last month. I'm trying to figure this out. She has to be channeling her. The idea that Iris was executed in place of Dahlia doesn't quite fit because of like how she acted in court.
So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom. What? Order, order, order!
But wait a moment. How can you... My sister, she's already dead. But what kind of... Yeah, no, you're not Iris. You of all people should already understand. After all, the blood of the master of Korean channeling technique flows within that body.
The Korean channeling technique? Now where have I heard of that?
That's right. You're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia, currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium.
What an exciting story. Exciting, but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder to a temple where her twin sister Iris was.
Well, if you're going to put things that way, then yes.
We're supposed to believe a coincidence like that just happens.
Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. It's all written right here in these instructions. Oh, what's that? These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple.
2 of them?
Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, in other words, 10 o'clock p.m. However, Iris was seen before dinner time.
That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris.
And the Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris. Meaning that the Iris Sister Bikini saw at the inner temple was someone else dressed as her, namely one Dahlia Hawthorne.
Do you even know what you're saying, Trite? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found plans that talk about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing in the witness stand is the real Iris.
What?
Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the inner temple due to the lightning strike. Yes. It was later that the body was moved by pendulum. That's right. Naturally, that would mean that the Iris that received the body was the real Iris. Are you with me so far? Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall. There they found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at a detention center. Yes, I suppose. I can't deny any of that.
Whew, thank goodness. It looks like he's finally convinced.
But something still seems off. Way off. I'm still not convinced that the Iris here is the same one from the other night. Huh. I suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous. Like, the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places. Switched places? To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know that unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial.
Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia, which means they must have switched places somewhere. Really?
Well, Mr. Wright, since the time she was arrested at Hazakura Temple, have there been any chances for Iris to switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne?
Yes, there have. Whoa. Okay. So... What? So she's alive? There was one chance. Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance. It was when the earthquake happened and she ran away.
Oh, explain yourself.
Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown.
Unknown? What do you mean?
What I mean is, there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely, unsupervised.
Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect time to move about freely like that?
I'm sorry. I know you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris the chance to freely move about was... Oh, man.
This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it?
Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not?
An earthquake?
Earthquake! Oh my goodness! The inner temple! This kind of tremor might...
How could I have... She fled. She escaped.
We went to the inner temple right away. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne. Okay.
Well, that's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here. No judge in his right mind would consider the idea of spirit channeling and...
Be quiet. Really? It's been a long time, Mr. Judge.
That voice. Guess I'll have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules.
This is nuts. Dahlia Hawthorne, and my current profession, permanently retired.
So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh?
Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me. Oh my god, this face.
What is going on here?
Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought we'd meet again. And I never thought we'd meet like this. But this time, I'll end it. For her
and for myself. What is happening? This is confusing me. I feel like I should know what's going on, but... Okay, so either Dahlia survived her execution and both of them are living up there and, like, constantly swapping places. Or... they're wrong that Iris doesn't have the power to channel. Or something wacky is going on, and Iris can just switch places with Dahlia at will because they're twins, maybe? I don't know what the fuck is going on with that. But yeah, no, actually. Okay, well, it doesn't make any sense. There's no way that she survived her execution, because Morgan wrote in that letter that you have to channel her. So she was channeled, for sure. So that rules that out. So either Iris can channel, or there's some wacky shit going on. The amount of turns and twists that this case is taking, of just fucking... I almost don't even feel like I'm in control anymore. At this point, I just kind of feel like I can just take what I can get and just watch it unfold. Well, I suppose thank you all for watching this episode of Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations Blind. In the last... oh my god. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. If you are new, consider subscribing. If you want to follow my socials or join my Discord, I can't even talk. They're in the description. And hope to see you guys next time when we cross-examine Dahlia Hawthorne a third time.